Thank you so much for your patience. We were working through some tech issues. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know if you are a resident or a service provider. And we're going to get started. You guys ready? Okay. All right. So welcome. My name is Lamecca. I'm the director of the East Flatbush Community Partnership. And we're going to get started with today's agenda. Cindy, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so we have our East Flatbush Community Partnership updates. We have Robin Daniels from, can you minimize your, I can't see. We have Robin Daniels from the U.S. Small Business Administration, Francisca Leopold from New York City Commission on Human Rights, Ray Bullock from Medcare NYC. We're going to have our program updates and closing remarks. Okay, so our East Flatbush Community Partnership updates, Melissa. You can stay there,
Okay, perfect.
but I still gotta raise your voice.
So, everyone, if you guys can, if you can scan the QR code, if you haven't done so already. That is for the attendance. It's important just to keep track of everyone who's here on the call. So if you haven't done so already, it should also be the link in the chat as well. You can scan the QR code and just fill out the attendance form. Alrighty, so East Flatbush Community Partnership, this is our website. So you can find all the information about the organization, basically what we do, how we help people. Also anything in regards to service providers and being a volunteer. So our general meeting, which is what you guys are on right now, it takes place every fourth Thursday of the month, and that's between 3 to 5. We do a hybrid model, so we wish you were here, but we understand. You can also do it on Zoom as well. So it's from 3 to 5 p.m. here at My Time 8, which is on Parkside Avenue. Next one, our virtual open door is every second Thursday of the month, right? So there we share local resources, learning about opportunities. Also, we have networking as well for the community. So that's the second Thursday of every month at 7 p.m.
Cindy is gonna lead us with our past events.
Thank you, Lamecca. On April 16th, in partnership with MHHC, also with the support of Councilmember Rita Joseph and ASEM, we had a community baby shower. What was led by MHHC. It was a really good event. That was on April 16th. Parents came out and was able to receive resources and giveaways, raffle prizes, and connect with a variety of resources concerning parenting, all of the research that's related to their current stats. Also earlier in the month, we supported a spring break AI and STEM leadership series in collaboration with Real Excellence in Achievers and Leaders. The children enjoyed digital girls teaching about digital. That wasn't a good way of explaining that. Using the same word, but I couldn't find anything else. They also built logo robots and also went on a trip to the New York Hall of Science. So it was really great series for the youth. For upcoming events, we are in the process of planning a Mother's Day sweet layers for May 16th. It will be a brunch. Also a workshop for cake decorating will be offered with all supplies provided, and a mental health and wellness workshop included with that as well. Oh, I didn't share. Sorry. That's gonna be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 1805 Nostrand Avenue. And then in June, we started this earlier in the year, bringing it back in collaboration with Flatlands Reformed Church, which is game night, family game night. It will be on June 5th, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It was a really good turnout last time, just giving families an opportunity to engage, have fun, and also engage with other community members such as themselves. If you have not done so, please say hello in the chat. Residents, type your name, share your email, and let us know that you're a resident. Service providers, please type your name, email, and identify your organization that you're associated with.
Thank you, Melissa and Cindy. Now we're going to have Evelyn introduce our first speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we will be starting off with our first presenter. Our first presenter is Robin Daniels, Lender Relations Specialist for the New York District Office, U.S. Small Business Administration. So you can give a snap or a clap.
Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Robin Daniels. I'm a lender relations specialist with the Small Business Administration. And, I'm here to give you, information regarding access to capital on how you can make your business grow, how to expand your business, how to start a business, things you need, different programs that we have in our different programs that we do have and that we do service. So, who's running, may I ask who's running the slide?
Cindy is.
Okay,
Mhm.
so, gotta go up one, sorry. Up one more. There you go. Okay, so the second one. Okay. There you go. Okay, so the SBA works to ignite change and spark action so small businesses can confidently start, grow, expand, and recover. Working with the Small Business Administration, small business owners and entrepreneurs are empowered to succeed with access to capital, valuable resources, business know-how, and the right expertise for each stage of their business lifestyle. Where are you at in your business lifestyle? What are you looking to achieve? Next. So, you need funding for your business. The SBA can help. No matter what industry you're in or how long you've been in business, we can connect you with different types of funding sources and will help you determine the one that's right for you. We have SBA backed loans. We have private investors, R&D award funds, as well as surety bonding. Next slide. Oop, I went down. Sorry about that. Okay, need a business loan to start, grow, expand. So the SBA loan programs are designed with the unique needs of small businesses in mind. Longer repayment terms, lower payments, and no prepayment penalties give you the flexibility you need to grow your business while meeting your financial obligations. SBA loan guarantees makes it possible for small businesses to access capital where they need to start, grow, or expand their business. Next. How can SBA backed loan help you? The SBA can help you access funding through a number of lending programs for various uses to meet your unique business need at the stage of your business lifestyle. We are here to help you launch, grow, repair, or start or purchase a business. Access to revolving lines of credit or working capital for day-to-day expenses. You can also help you purchase or renovate, expand your facilities. You use it for equipment and machinery. You can use it for real estate as well as export, import, importing. Now, from $500 to $5 million, SBA backed loans can be used for any type of business purposes. I'm sorry. Some loan programs set restrictions on how you can use the funds. So make sure you check with the SBA approved lender when requesting a loan, and your lender can match you with the right loan for your business needs. Next. Okay, increase your chances of securing a loan. Lenders want you to know they're making smart choices by giving you a loan. Our local score partners, which is the Service Corps Retired Executive, or we have something that's called the SBDC, which is Small Business Development Centers, as well as Women's Business Centers, as well as Veterans Business Center offices also. We help you prepare with your business plan. They help you with your loan packages. They will actually make you presentable to a lender where they can discuss, like I said, cash flow, financials, and everything is free. Next slide. Next slide. So our basic 7A loan is a maximum guarantee of the maximum loan amount is $5 million, and the maximum guarantee is $3.75 million. Now it's 85% for loans up to $150,000, and 75% for loans above $150,000. Now, interest rates may be fixed or variable, and the fixed rate loans of $50,000 or more must not exceed prime plus 2.25%. Okay, and it must not go over the prime plus 2.75% if the maturity is 7 years or older. Now, we have our SBA Express loan, which also gives a maximum guarantee of the 75% of $500,000, and for loans up to and over is 50%. You will get a guarantee on. So then on that one, to the next slide. We also have our programs for underserved marketing. So we have our SBA Community Advantage, which means that you must stay in the community. And they go up to $350,000. And we also have microloans. Microloans goes up to $50,000. And I say those are generally the best ones for people that are just starting out, that don't want the high interest rates and have to go to a bank. We have not CDFIs, I'm thinking the wrong thing. We have people that are under our umbrella, so to speak, and they are called intermediaries. And they have been vetted, and they have been doing microloans for SBA for like the last 30 some odd years. Like I stated, it goes up to $50,000. They each have their own policies. So on that note, there is a list that if anybody would like, they can email me and I can give you the list, and then you can contact any one of them and they'll be able to help you out on that note. Okay, the next slide. So the 504 Economic Development Program. This program is a long-term financial tool for economic development within the community. The 504 loan program provides growing business with long-term fixed rate financing for major fixed assets such as land, building, or heavy machinery. We have certified development companies that handles all of SBA's paperwork, and they will actually help you put everything that is needed together. So the lender actually sets the term and conditions for the loans. They, like I said, the lender holds the first lien position. SBA will hold second, and you only have to put down 10% financing on a 504 loan. 504 loan 504 loan, my mistake.
Ellen, can you?
Next. So the basic 504 structure is 50% of project cost is typically financed by the lender. 10% is financed by the SBA CDC. So you are only putting down 10% for commercial real estate. Repeat that. You're putting down 10% for commercial real estate. If you are a startup, you may have to put an additional 5. If you are a special project, a special project such as if you have a movie theater or a gas station, any one of those things that needed to be converted, you need to put an additional 5%. But the basics is you're mainly putting down 10% of what it is that you need for a commercial real estate. And when you look at the commercial real estate, you look at it as having having a how do you say it? A storefront. Your business is on the first floor and the basement. You have an office, and the remaining of the building, you can do whatever you want. As long as your business is able to maintain the payment that is due, you only need to put down 10% on that project cost. Next slide. I'm gonna speed it up for you. 504 parameters next. So like the loan limits is 5 million. And if you're a small manufacturer, you go up to 5.5. It also has a reduction of existing energy consumption. So now this loan with the 504, the maturity is up to 25 years on real estate. And the machine and equipment is 10 years. So also note that in the state of New York, that's with the SBA second lien position, there is no mortgage recording tax. So that actually saves a whole lot of additional funding. Okay, next. Now, the eligible use of proceeds you can use to acquire land, improve a site, expand, renovate, construction, and you can use it for fixed assets. Next. What SBA seeks in loan application versus existing versus a startup. So if it's an existing business, we want to see the repayment ability because you know that this is Uncle Sam's money. So they will actually be doing an analysis of the cash flow of the business. We're going to look at the historical cash flow to see what's going on, to see how it measures up from what's here in the present to the past. We'll also need 3 years of tax returns, business as well as personal. Now, if you're looking at a startup, the business plan is going to be the main thing that you will need. as I stated before, we have small business development centers that can actually help you put your business plan together. They will help you with your projections, anything financial. They'll help you with doing research. They'll help you with telling you where you can go to find things, help you with location, help you with any type of registered business. And it's free. So on that note, we have a couple more. Next slide. Now, to offset the cost of SBA loan programs, the taxpayer, the agency charges lenders a guarantee fee and a servicing fee for each loan that is approved and dispersed. Now, this is not a sliding scale, and the guarantee fees are laid out depending on what it is that you're trying to borrow. Like I stated before, the fees can be figured into the loan and be paid off during the life of the loan. Now, for loans, as you can see, for loans up to 150 or less, is 2% of the guaranteed portion. And if it's over 1 million to 3.75, it's additional 25% on any guaranteed amount over $1 million. Next. So, collateral conditions. SBA is considered a cash flow lender, not a collateral lender, and does not routinely apply loan to value criteria in deciding whether or not to approve or decline a loan guarantee request. However, the lender must ensure that the loan has been pledged to the act. The lender must ensure that the borrower has pledged adequate collateral, both in business and personal, to protect the interests of the federal government. Now, lack of collateral is not a reason for decline. A refusal to pledge is a letter for decline. Now, if you feel like you want to hide the house down in the Bermudas or in Barbados and you think that Uncle Sam is not going to find you, I say think again, because we will find you, and that will be the main reason for the decline, because you lied to us, and that is what they consider bad character. Next. Personal guarantees. Anyone that is owner 20% or more of your business must put a personal guarantee, and that is mandatory. Okay, now I'm gonna zoom through a couple of these slides. So, get one. Refinancing. SBA guarantee loans may be used to refinance the certain types of debts that is not on reasonable terms, or that's actually gonna save like 10% of the cash flow that is actually trying to be refinanced. Next. This is a list of businesses that are not eligible for SBA financing, such as gambling, real estate, speculative, multi-level marketing, marketing firms, marijuana industry. We cannot do it. Illegal activities. So, there's a long list as you can see. So now, next. These are for our private investors. This is called the Small Business Investment Companies, which is SBIC. Now I'm going to give you a side note. The federal government the federal government logos. You must know the lingo. Everything, as you can see, has been broken down to an acronym. Small Business Investment Company is a SBIC. Small Business Development Company is a SBDC. You have SCORE, which is a Service Corps of Retired Executives. Everything is an acronym. Learn the lingo so that you'll be able to understand what is going on when it comes down to SBA and their loan program. So the SBIC is a privately owned company that's licensed and regulated by the SBA. The SBA doesn't invest directly into small businesses, but it does provide funding to qualified SBICs with expertise in certain sectors or industries. So now the next one we have is the Small Business Innovation Research and Small Business Technical Transfer. So say those facts. So you have the SBIR and the STTRs, and they are with the early stages of capital going through research and development. This is the website where you can find more information in regards to the SBIRs and STTRs. And their website is sbir.gov. Next. Coming to an end. The next slide is in regards to the Office of International Trade. So nearly 96% of customers live outside the United States, and 2/3 of the world purchasing power is in foreign countries. You can go to the sba.gov in /exporting to learn more. Next. The SBA can help you go global. You can get counseling through the Export Assistance Centers, as well as the FBDCs. You can get state trade expansion, which is the STEP program. And you can get export funding, which is the Export Working Capital Program. And we have Export Express loans. Need to bond to bid on a contract. We have something that's called government contracting that falls under the 8A Business Development Program, that can help you get into the government arena. Next. We have disaster loans. When we was going through the pandemic. Disaster loans, we had the economic injury, we had economic injury and disaster loans. Then we also had the PPP loan. So SBA actually helps you prepare for when disaster does happen. We are there for you after when it's time to clean up. The website that you can go to is sba.gov/prepare. Okay, and I'm going to make this the last one. Now, SBA disaster loan, like I stated, it has every year provides billions of dollars of low interest, long-term disasters to help homeowners, renters, and people recover from disasters. They help you with real estate, personal. They help you with machine equipment inventory, and they actually help you with while you're on military duty. So the 3 C's that SBA does have is the counseling, capital, and government contact. government contracting. We have gone through each and every one of those. My contact information is robin.daniels@sba.gov. Those are just extra slides that can go through and at a later time. And on that note, I'm done. I will give it back to Cindy.
Thank you.
We'll see if anyone has any questions for you. Any questions for Robin? Feel free to unmute yourself.
I have those.
Yes, George, you can speak up so they can hear you.
Okay, thank you for the new presentation, first of all, but I do have a couple of questions. One, you said that, for the startup, they don't need the 3 years, tax.
With the startup. That's where the business plan comes in. With the business plan, they are actually projecting everything.
Yes.
You don't have to have business taxes, but you will need your personal taxes to show that you have some form of income to cover. And it will also show what you plan on doing, how much you plan on spending, so that your projections can be done.
Okay, and that would apply to each owner that has, what are the 20%?
Correct.
Each one, okay, thank you. The other part was, you just mentioned, not too long, one of the last slide, the SPA, and it also helps with, homeowners thing.
Oh,
Oh,
for
yeah.
disaster. So
Oh, yes.
when we just had the disaster when during the pandemic, and as you already know, Hugo was a big disaster when we have the big tornadoes and everything. So they are actually, we have a set of SBA workers that actually goes down there and fill out the application, and you can get renters, homeowners, business owners can actually apply for this loan if they was, what's the word? If they was, what's the word? I can't think.
Impacted?
There you go, impacted by any of that.
Okay, so the homeowner would have to be, they would have to have a rental.
No, if you have a homeowner, just need, you need your homeowner's insurance.
Yeah.
That will be deducted first, homeowner's insurance, then you'll be able to get along with the SBA on the relation balance. But you still gotta have whatever it is that you will need if you was applying for your homeowner's insurance. You have to have your documentation, the mortgage, that much stuff.
Thank you.
Question?
Yeah, so in the beginning of and thank you for that presentation. In the beginning, you were going over several different types of loan programs. Do you guys counsel the borrower as far as which program would be appropriate for them? Because I would imagine you started a business, you say, yeah, I want 5 million. Do they say, hey, no, that's not the program for you, you need to do, you know?
I'm gonna say something like that, because okay, back up. So this is where the SBDCs and the scores and the VBOX and the Women's Business Center come in at, because they will make you presentable for any type of loan program that is there. That's one. Second, the bank is the one that actually collects everything, because you do not come to SBA to get the loan. You go to a bank, in general, tell them that you'd like to take out a small business loan. The bank collects all documentation, they analyze everything, and then they're the one that decide on what program would better off suit what it is that you're trying to do. So say you only need 100,000, and all you know or heard of is a 7A loan, but the bank might be able to give you a better deal if you're doing the community advantage, say for the $350 instead of having to use a $500 loan program. You understand?
Yeah,
It's
right,
just,
right.
it's just based on the information that you're giving to them.
Okay, and then just one other question, you had mentioned for like capital and equipment, and you talked about commercial, do they do anything for like a mixed, like a residential type business?
What do you mean by mixed use?
Like a veterans, like
Well, the
or a
CD,
halfway house type.
well, the CDC, which is the person that handles all the SBA's, paperwork, they are the main ones that handle all of our questions. So what I can do is I can get you in contact with somebody that's there, but I'm pretty sure that that question can be answered by them.
Okay,
So I don't wanna give you the wrong information, so, what I can do is give you my information and I can do a little research.
okay, thank you.
Does anyone on Zoom have questions for Robin? If so, feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, I think we're ready for our next presenter. Okay, Ellen.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so thank you for your presentation once again. It was very informative. So for our next presenter is Francisca, Associate Human Rights Specialist, Community Relations Bureau, New York City Commission on Human Rights. Give a clap, let's snap.
Stay there. You can come here too. Yeah, those are your slides, right?
That's the slides?
That's what you said. Yeah,
It came up?
yeah,
Oh,
yes. And we figured it out while you were out.
okay.
Yes. Cindy's gonna control it for you.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Sorry.
Quick, can you bypass this one? Good afternoon, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Francisca Leopold, from the New York City Commission on Human Rights. I work at the Brooklyn office. I work at the Brooklyn office at 25 Chapel Street. That is downtown Brooklyn. Because of time, I will bypass some of our slides and I will more focus on employment and housing, discrimination in employment and housing. So Commission on Human Rights, what we do, we go to the different boroughs, we work with the communities, community-based organizations, with the elected officials and other entities in the community, empowering members of our community and letting them understand what their rights are under New York City law. Under our law, we empower persons when it comes to discrimination and when their rights are violated. Two of the things that is very important in the era that we're living now, two things that as persons go out on their daily lives, that the two things that you should look at, persons should not ask you when it comes to your rights is your immigration status, whether you have an immigration status, and your criminal record. So it doesn't matter where you go. If you go to the office, you're applying for a job, wherever that you may go, no one should ask you about your immigration status and your criminal background. If anyone should ask you, then you need to report it to us. As anything else, if someone should discriminate against you and your rights were violated, you have 1 year to come to us and file a complaint. So Commission on Human Rights, we are city. So there's Commission on Human Rights, City Commission on Human Rights, and we have the State Human Rights. So City Commission on Human Rights, we only cover the 5 boroughs. So we do Staten Island, the Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens. And we have the State Human Rights. So anything else, if any of your rights were violated outside of New York City, then you will go to the state human rights. If your rights were violated within the 5 boroughs, then you come to us. So you have choices. If you want to come to us, you do so. If you want to go to the state human rights, you can do so, or you can file with the civil court. So let's go back and we'll pass all those slides. I will go to, okay, just go back a bit. All right. So this workshop goal is to really educate persons against discrimination in the New York City law. And then we are looking and identifying some key areas, discrimination and sexual harassment and retaliation. And as I said, that the 2 areas which is really plaguing our communities now is employment and housing. So these are the 2 areas. So therefore, you will see that I'm bypassing some of the slides. Next slide, please. Okay, go ahead. All right. So what is the commission? New York City Commission on Human Rights is a city agency, which I just mentioned within our local city government. We are one of the administrative offices for the mayor's office. Our mandate is to prevent and protect against discrimination in New York City. So these are some of the offices we have. The Community Relations Bureau, that is the division that I work with. Then we have the Law Enforcement Bureau and also the Office of Mediation and Conflicts, and we have the Office of the Chair. Our office, we go out into the communities, persons come to us, we educate persons, we listen to persons complain, we do presentations like this one, we go to schools and different areas. And the Law Enforcement Bureau is where we have our attorneys working. So our attorneys, they are in the office. When complaints come to us, we look at it and it is within our jurisdiction. We turn it over to the attorneys, they look at it, and then they have their own judgment as to if it's a complaint that they want to proceed with. Now, in some of the areas, some persons, they don't want to go to court. Some persons don't want their name out there in the media, especially in housing. So what they do, they would meet with the Office of Mediation. So whoever the complainant is and the respondent, they would sit and they will come to an understanding, and then they will settle the case right at our location. And the Office of the Chair is where the policies and everything and the laws and everything else is put in place. Next slide, please. So these are the areas of discrimination, some of the areas of discrimination. So we are looking at prohibiting discrimination in those areas of employment, public accommodation, housing, discriminatory harassment, bias-based profiling by law enforcement. And a lot of persons, when I do ask them about public accommodation, when it comes to their mind, and those who are in-house, and if I ask you, what is public accommodation? What comes to your mind when I ask you what is public accommodation?
Like if you need a wheelchair? I mean, not a wheelchair, wheelchair access?
And that is, that's one of them.
You're accommodating for the public, like some restrictions, like you're taking away some restrictions. I don't know. and
Okay, let me get a little bit more.
Am I in the right track?
You get it, you get it hard. Let me give somebody else. So public accommodation, it's anywhere that you frequent outside of your home. So right in this space, your rights could be violated right here. So if you go to a restaurant, your rights could be violated at a restaurant, in the train, on the bus, in the taxi, in the supermarket, at the airport, in the park, in the bathroom, anywhere that you are, you're frequenting outside of your house, anyone could violate your rights. So sometimes we don't pay attention to what's happening around us. Sometimes you may go to a restaurant and because the color of your skin, when you walk in, they may have a table right in front, but they put you in the corner, right? And it have happened to me. I've been to a restaurant and then they didn't serve me. And then there were other persons who came in and they served them, you know, and then when I call and say, hey, I've been sitting there all this time, you know, so I don't want to spend too much time, but I experience it. Also, I experienced it at a hotel. I walked in and you have to pay very close attention as to your surrounding and what is happening because persons will be violating your rights and you wouldn't know, you know. And I went to a hotel and I walked in and I asked the clerk for a non-smoking room and the clerk said to me, I'm sorry, we have no rooms available. It was late night and I was out of town. And I stepped aside and then a Caucasian couple walked in and walked up to the desk and the clerk said, smoking or non-smoking? And I was like,
And were you in your current role?
no.
Oh, that messed with the wrong one today.
Yeah. And then I looked, and then the good gentleman turned around, took a look at me, and turned to the clerk and said, "Didn't you just tell
That's
her
right.
that
That's
you have
right.
no rooms available?" And he didn't say anything. And the gentleman called the wife, he held his wife's hand,
Let's go.
and said, "I'm sorry, I don't want the room."
That's right.
And then he came to me and said, "Mom, I am so sorry for
Wow.
what just happened."
Wow.
Right? So you know, if I was in this role right now.
Hey, hey.
And the same thing at the restaurant, what happened at the restaurant, the only thing good came out of it when I called and then I complained, the manager, he made some silly little excuse. And then I had lunch and dinner for everybody for a month. You know, so
We'll take that. We'll take that.
I do that. So I tell people when I go, I said, if it quack like a duck, then it's a duck.
That's
If you
right.
feel uncomfortable, you know, something is totally wrong. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so we are looking at elements of discrimination with the connection, right? So you'll have an employer and an employee, the landlord and the tenant, and the public space and the patron. So that is the connections we are looking at. Next slide, please. Okay, employment discrimination and protected classes. We're going into employment right now. And you just follow through with me because some key areas I just want to point out, and because we have a lot of slides. Next slide, please. Okay, so look at the areas, for those of you online, areas of discrimination that you'll experience, right? Your age discrimination. Just yesterday, somebody came up to me and they said they know of this person who is in the 70s at work and they're pressuring them to retire. You cannot pressure anybody because of the age to retire. Caregivers, if you have a child, you have an elderly person, a parent that you need to take care of, they're supposed to work with you. The color of your skin, right? And you say, what? The color of my skin? And until you experience it, then you will understand. You're looking at the credit history, criminal record. I just mentioned that your creed, right? Your disability, the gender identity, your height, the two main things: immigration status and the credit history, marital status. You may think what those things have to do with employment, but it happens in the workplace. Pre-employment marijuana testing, national origin, pregnancy, national origin, where you're coming from, your race, salary history. So I'm gonna point on some of those. Sexual orientation, sexual and reproductive health decision status, as a victim of domestic violence, sexual violence, and stalking, and employment. So we're looking at criminal record. If one is applying for a job, when you come across it, maybe online or in person, if that job posting says, "Have you ever been arrested? Do you have a record?" Anything that has to do with your criminal history, it is a no-no. So if you come across this, and it could be some person, sometimes when I go to the schools, and the young men will say, "But I applied online and so platform," and then they have it. And just last week I came across it. So if you do come across it, please contact our office and let us know.
I have a question. So you're saying they can't ask you, right? That's what I'm hearing?
No.
But what if they don't ask you and they run the report and then come back and say, "We're not going to hire you because we found."
So I'm gonna get into that.
Okay.
Yeah, great question. So that is a no-no, right? Okay, so let us look at since the question is asked on the criminal history. So you apply for the job, and everybody in this room, they're applying for the same job, right? So there's elimination period that's going, no, you're not qualified, no, you're not qualified, no, you're not qualified. And I know you, but I don't remember your name. George, right? So George and Cindy, the two of them are the last two persons, right? And said, okay, these are the two last candidates we are looking at. And as they factor into the qualifications on the technical areas that one might be best suited, and they said, okay, George is the one that we would like. So they called George and say, "Hey, George, congratulations, we'll offer you this job." Okay, so during that elimination period, as everyone come in and they do an interview, they cannot conduct a background check on none of you. If they do, they are violating your rights. They cannot do it, right? Some person might do it, but they should not do it. So they are the only time they can run a criminal background check on you when the job is offered to you, when you accept the position, then they will tell you, they ask you for references. So you get your free references and whatever else that they're asking you, and then they will conduct the background check on you. So if for any reason that George was walking down the street and then somebody driving down the street and somebody hit his car and the person didn't want to own up to the fault, George get angry and just give them two nice cuffs, right? And George was arrested. That came up, it's there, okay? Should they refuse to give George the job because he have a record?
Maybe.
Should they refuse to give George the thing? And then those online, you can type in and, we can say, we could communicate, right? You could type in if you have any questions. No, because the job has nothing to do with that. But if George, I'm sorry, George, I'm not gonna disrespect you in any way, but if George, it was a banking job and George held up somebody at gunpoint and robbed them, should they give him that job? No, he would not get that job, right? Let's say, for instance, somebody accused him of child molestation and he was applying for a job as a teacher. Should they give him the job? No, he would not get the job. So the two has to coincide, right? They have to have some element of connection between them, right? So if they do come across that, they'll call you to say, hey, we run your credit, your background check, and this is what we saw. So then they have to give him a letter, written letter as to the findings, right? And give him a week to respond to the findings, because sometimes he may be innocent, right? So that's the only time that the criminal background check. So we are looking, and fast forward, on that job application, there's salary transparency. Everybody knows what salary transparency is, right? So you says yes, what is salary transparency?
They now have to basically tell you, I believe it's what everybody, like salary for everyone in the company, is that
Not
it?
everyone.
Just what you're applying for?
Yes. Somebody else?
They have to tell you the salary up front, no?
Yes.
Oh.
So on that job posting, it have to have your salary range. So if the job is $90,000 and the starting point salary is 40, it would be $40,000 to $90,000. So you know your range, so you know what you are getting. Now, during the interviewing session, they should not ask you. Some people do, but they should not ask you, George, are you employed now? No. Were you employed before? Yes. How much money did you make? They can't ask George that. And George, you don't have to answer them. Now, when I say George, I'm just, we are working together here. We are team here. So they should not ask him. And they should, why are you asking me this? You understand? Go ahead.
So I have a family member apply for a job. They offered him the lowest range. And he was just like, I have all this experience. And they said, oh, you have to work here for a while to get the highest range.
No.
That's not.
That's not, because
Exactly.
if you're going, there are some persons who just leave school, right? And they're just starting, that's the first job, and then they start them at that low range, right? After the probationary period, then they increase it to 8% or whatever. If you're coming in and you've worked before and then you have experience, they should not start you.
Exactly.
You should not.
I feel like it was being deceitful because
Yes.
they're never going to offer anyone that higher range. So why you
So
got
yes, they could never for you the higher range because they have to $40,000 to $90,000. They cannot start you at $90,000 because they have to leave space for increase. Right? Because as time goes by, they will increase your salary. So if you start you, so then they have to change, that top range. So
so you're saying it's okay?
No. No. I'm saying that they should not tell him, well, if he had the experience, he can start at the top. You never start a job at the top. You understand? You may start at the middle. So if you go in, if the salary range is 40,000 and you go in with experience, it might start with 60,000. You understand, the 70,000, but not at the top. Because at the end of the day, after your probationary period, they always give you an 8% increase. So you have to leave that space where you can get that funding to pay that person. So if for any reason that George didn't want to answer them, they cannot contact George past employer to say, hey, this person worked with you, how much percent? So if for any reason they go online and they come across anything like that, on George is supposed to inform him and say, hey, during research and stuff, then we saw that. Another thing when it comes to employment, it may not put into you guys in here, but a lot of folks have children, young children
Mhm.
coming out of school. The internet is killing them. Facebook is killing them, Instagram is killing them.
They put all that
When it comes
business.
to the job, right? Now, everywhere I go to the school, I always let people understand it may be because that's still your family and it will affect you. They put all sorts of stuff on Facebook
Mhm.
and Instagram. Some of them they're smoking, and then they have all sorts of foul languages online. It's a whole lot of stuff that in Instagram, when those young persons, one of the young persons at the school that I went to, he said, but whatever he put online is his personal business. If you put it online, it's not your business anymore.
No, it's not.
It's for the whole world. It's for everybody. It's not your
Unless you
business
got a
anymore.
private account, only your friends.
Exactly. And so one time they used to accept aliases. They don't, you have to put in your information. Because if anything, you bully anybody, anything happen online, they know how to reach you. So anytime a young person opening, or anybody at that matter, open an account online, they have to use the full information, date of birth and everything. They have to have everything there. So please caution your young people who are in school, who will be going out there in college, and they'll be getting ready to go out there searching for work. Let them be careful as to what they are placing on online. Hold on a minute. Then okay, so we are looking at pre-employment. Okay, so let me just delve into immigration status. So if an employer, give me 1 minute here. If an employer knows that you don't have your proper papers, right, immigration papers, and they hire you, do you think that they should pay you the same amount of money as the other persons who are in good standing? Should they?
Yes, yeah.
Huh?
If you qualify,
Yeah.
yes.
So if you hire the person, regardless of the person immigration status, you have to pay. So whatever you pay those who are in good standing, everybody across the board is supposed to get the same. So it could be interns in regardless of your immigration status, if there is any sort of promotion and anything else that the employees, the regular employees would get everybody. You should not tell the person, oh, well, you can't talk because you ain't got no papers. So you have to take what I give you and treat that person anyhow. You can't do that. And if for any reason that person has a backbone to stand up, because a lot of persons, because their immigration status, things are happening to them on the job and they don't talk. They just keep going with it. So if that person then have a backbone to stand up and say, I know my rights, and that person report them and they retaliate against that person, then they're in trouble as well. They cannot retaliate against that person because the person would have, question their rights. So pre-employment and marijuana testing. So we're looking at that marijuana testing. MTA, TSA, the airport, law enforcement, health, the health field, construction companies. It's yes. You have to do marijuana testing. But any regular job, they should not ask you to do marijuana testing. Mind you, although they may not ask you to do a marijuana testing, but some of those private companies, they have their in-house policies. So they may ask you to do one, And one of the young girls came to me and said, Miss, I need to talk to you because I was at work and I was in the lobby area, and my supervisor came to me and asked me if I'm okay. And I told my supervisor, yeah, I'm okay, but I smoked some herb last night. So I said, well, did they ask you? No. And they fired her because they had an in-house policy that you should not do drugs, So you have to be very, very. I spoke about salary history. George, you had a question?
Yes, right, I agree. You just mentioned one was regarding the marijuana testing, but the other one is the immigration and citizen status.
Mhm.
Under this Trump administration, that the big suspension with the home with like an employer. Can they to ask you about your immigration status and then say, okay, we can hire this person because I'm afraid that some administration from Central come down and pay.
Yeah, so that is, as anything else, when I first came to this country, it is something that I know that if they hired you without a green card or work permit, you know, and the authorities know, they will come after you and then they will penalize you. But as the years went, a lot of people would do it. They would hire persons, not the city, but private organizations, private companies, they would do it. So what we are saying that although we know you have to have your work permit to work, to be legal to work, but if a company choose to hire you, then they should not treat you any different, right? If they choose to, they know that, you know, if they get caught and they want to take a chance, we're not saying that they have to do it, but if they choose to do it, then they have to give you the same support, the same, yeah.
Thank you.
All right?
I have a question.
Yes.
So back to the marijuana question. So I know now that marijuana is legal, at least in New York,
Mhm.
right? It's considered recreational. Same thing is happening up here after the breakout, right? That young lady that you referenced, it's, you know, I look at it as being on the same plane. So, you know, whether or not, with that type of policy that organization had, would it extend to, like, if she said I had wine last night? I mean, would they, like, it just seems very arbitrary. That
Yeah, so I know what you're saying, yeah, but what happened is that the policy came in after it was legalized. After marijuana was legalized,
Yeah,
then that's when she went through, you understand?
okay.
Yes, yeah, she experienced that. So there was nothing that we could have done for her again. And yeah, let me see. Okay. So we're looking at uniform service and military status. They have to get all the same set of coverage and everything that everybody is getting. You cannot discriminate against, you know, somebody who was in the army or anything. Next slide, please. I'm gonna try. I just wanted to spend a little time. And so when we look, we see persons who are protected. So if you're working for a company and the company, they have to have 4 and more persons. So if the company has a business in New York City with 2 employees, that including the owner, maybe their family member, and then they have another one in New Jersey, that's counted. That's under the head of, so it's a 4 or more employees. Okay? Okay, let's go. Okay. Next slide. We have to be very careful when it comes to sexual and Cindy, I may have to, because I don't want to chew this up. So I may have to come to complete this. Judge, may I have you over the face? And Judge, can I touch you?
Yeah.
First, okay, everybody. So Judge, see right here from
Well, it would probably be better if that you
Okay,
others
okay,
can
that's
see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come here, Judge. So as a supervisor, I'm going to Judge, and Judge is working for me, and I would like Judge to, you know, work on something for me for the day. And I go to John, I give Judge the folder, and I ask her to complete this for me, and I want it tomorrow morning. As soon as I come in, and Judge agreed. So the next morning, when I get in, Judge, let's go closer to each other. There. Okay, I didn't ask you to be playing here, you'll be working. All right?
Right.
I'm gonna put my hand on. Judge, I'll touch you. It's okay?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a business.
When I go to church in the morning, right, as a supervisor, I cannot, good morning, George. Have you completed the task? I cannot do that. That is sexual harassment.
Right.
Nor should I go to George like this with my hands around George and say, hi, how are you this morning? Have you completed? Nor should I, as a woman, go with my breast against his back, right? Now, I may have a liking for George, but George, because of his job, he don't want to, you know, say, hey, you know, I don't feel comfortable with you touching me, because he don't want to get himself in trouble because I'm his supervisor, right? Now, they may have the other work colleagues, they're sitting there, they're saying this, and they're not satisfied, they're not, they're not feeling comfortable with what's happening. They're looking at judge body language, facial expression, and they can tell that he is not comfortable. Judge may not want to say anything, but everybody else who is in the surrounding, it is the duty to report me, right? They can report me to the higher ups and say, hey, this is happening, and then this is, she's been coming in, touching judge is not comfortable, then they will call judge, and they will talk to him, and then they will, interview judge as to what's happening, and they will interview everybody else. Okay, please don't sue me, Judge.
Don't report him.
So hold on, let me remember your last question. So Judge, I need you to walk in and just walk over to your desk. Just walk, take a nice slow walk.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so I'm watching Judge going in. I cannot watch Judge and say, ooh, Judge, you look nice in those jeans, right? I look in those jeans. I can't do that. I cannot do that. Right? I like how those jeans are clenching you. I can't do that. So if Judge walk in and you have a pair of jeans, those are nice jeans. I really, really like those jeans. But I cannot tell Judge, I like how those jeans fit him, how he stick on him, right? Now, it doesn't only go for a woman. Vice versa. It could be man and man, woman to woman, woman to man, man to woman, for everybody, So you have to be very, very careful, because coming from the Caribbean, we call persons darling and sweetheart. Not sort of stuff in the crowd, because that's what we're accustomed to. And it was just like blew up my mind when I called one person, hi darling, and then they stopped to say, I'm not your darling, no problem, my good darling. Right? It is sexual harassment. So we have to be very careful in the workplace as to, in no time like this, you'll be sued yourself.
How can you deem a touch not sexual or inappropriate? How could you deem, like you say someone will touch you, and how could you deem it? Well, that's not sexual. That's not inappropriate.
So you, in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Because when I go to judge and I put my hand on judge, I might just feel, hey, as a supervisor,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of anything.
Yeah.
It might just be crazy. I just say, hey, how are you? Good morning. But judge is not comfortable, right? So if judge is not comfortable, it is my word against judge. I say, but I didn't mean anything by it. But then if judge says, well, you've been doing it several times, and I don't feel comfortable about it.
Would that be ground for termination for you?
So no, they will not terminate me. We will have, because it will go to EEO, right? We'll have session, they will write it up, they will write a report on everything, and we'll go to the EEO officer, and then we have different hearings. And then when they realize that it was basically an innocent, touch, it won't go anywhere, right? Another area of sexual harassment. Cindy, I am so sorry. So you and George, you are my people today. So George and Cindy, they're dating, right? You're having this beautiful office love affair. Somehow or the other, George played at his big man, and then now he go to my girl over there and start chatting her, right? Cindy got angry and said, like, really, you're disrespecting me, And he said, I'm sorry, just a friend. But then Cindy saw him touching, holding her hand, everything. So Cindy, that's it, it's over. Then
It was like a soap opera.
that's what it is. At the end of the day now, George getting those little post-it notes. And I'm so sorry. Can you meet me after work? Can we go to dinner? Can we do this? And leaving it on her desk. And she's complaining, don't leave anything on my desk. I don't want to hear anything from you. It's them sexual harassment, right? After work, George is standing outside in the corner of the building or in the corner of Rogers Avenue, waiting for her. Sexual harassment. She will fight against him because she's been refusing him and rejecting him. And he kept doing it. Now you may say that it happened outside, but look in this place. Yeah,
Now someone's gonna say that, what if since it's outside?
Yeah,
it's
so-
not inside the
So they may say, well, it's not happening in-house, but both of them work in the same office. And it is something that is taken from the office under the outside, right? So she can file against him.
What is the outcome of a sexual harassment case?
So, like in my case, if they say that, hey, I really went against the law, I violated the sexual harassment law. So what they would do, they can either move George because George is not comfortable, move him to another unit, right? Or they may move me from that unit and send me to another unit. Yes, George.
In the case like you were touching me, and then one of my coworker reported, okay?
Mhm.
Can I, what happens if I say, hey, I have no problem with it?
Well, they will
Would
squash it.
still be,
They will, if you are okay, and then you say, "Oh, it's nothing," and so then they will not do anything, but they will caution me about it because at the end of the day, it may not offend you, but it's offending the other people around you. They are not comfortable with it, So you may be okay with it, but if the other ones in the office they are not comfortable with it, then it's an issue.
yeah, but say like the outcome of,
Yeah, so they will caution me and say, hey,
Yeah.
I have to refrain from doing it to anybody else and stuff like that, So I have to get my warning. And then the warning that they give me have to be in writing. So if it happens again, they have something on record. Somebody has had it on.
Yeah, I did. So let's say that George didn't like it, you did it again, they get rid of it, right?
If George doesn't like it and and another employee, because sometimes that one person who really come out to talk, there might be somebody that it happened to before. And that person said, oh, well, yes, she did it to me too. I can be terminated.
So the follow-up is, let's say now that you are looking for another job and you put this job down on your resume, right? And your employer, the job that you're going for, calls that employer and asks about your employment there. Are they able to disclose and say, yeah, we let her go because she was sexually harassing the employer?
So sometimes that happens. Sometimes it will come up, especially if DOI got involved. You will have a record and it will be there.
Wow.
Now, sometimes you may go through that process and they may not put it on your record, right? They may not have, they need your warning, right? So it may not come up on your record. And sometimes it may, especially if you have a boss who don't like you that much, so it might cause a problem. Yeah. So sometimes it works against you, and sometimes they just leave you, Yeah, so that's why it is very, very, very important. So we look at sexual harassment can be behaviors in offensive or threatening or demanding, demeaning, embarrassing, or something similar. So what you might say to the person, as I said, the way you might address the person when a woman walk in. And it might walk in and then it means like, hey, man, you look good in this dress. I love the way you look in this dress, So it's how these things that you say to the person, So next slide. Okay, and so we are looking, I mentioned age discrimination before. So if the discrimination, so no one should push you because you have a certain age to push you out of a job, right? So if you have a certain age and you have the willpower to work and you want to work, they should not push you out of the job. You can and some person do that, they'll come in and then they say, if you're on the job, it's time for you to, try to go on traveling. They may say it in a nice way to get rid of you, and then you should not take it like this. Okay, discrimination based on the color of your skin. It is illegal for employers to threaten you or to treat you differently, to deny you opportunities because of the color of your skin. And it happens in many of the it happened in the city, the agencies, it happened in the private sector. Because of the color of your skin, the promotion comes, and sometimes you may have you're more qualified than the other person, right? And then
Is that apply if the job is with a certain population and they would prefer a certain person?
So any job, as long as you're qualified to do the job, you're qualified to do the job, right? If you're qualified to do the job, because I'm going to, what's your name? I'm going to pick on Ray. Craig?
Ray.
Right.
Oh, Ray. Okay. So Ray's working, right? So Ray, don't feel no offense. Okay, I'm not picking on you.
oh, I'm from Brooklyn, I don't get it.
Good answer.
Many a times it happens with a Caucasian man or Caucasian woman, right? You have Black people working there, and a Caucasian man and Caucasian woman come into the job. And that person is coming and they have no experience. So you as a black person, you're working there, you've been working there for 15, 20 years. But then he comes in, Ray comes in and he said, hey, this is Ray, we have an opening, Ray is a new person and you will ask me to train him, right? And I'll train him, right? And then I'm making $60,000 and giving $80,000. You understand? Now, why would you want to get angry with him? You can't get angry with him, you know? Because he's not the one who create the policy or create the monster in the house. Some people say, oh, well, you know, he just got, no, it's not him. You know, so you have to go at the people, you know, who look up to him because he's a Caucasian man. And then you're a black person. And it happens all the time.
So I was just gonna say, how do you, like, what's the recourse? Like, how do you, like,
What's this? I mean, it's based on the organizations because I'm telling you, the city, then you can shout. If it's a private industry, they tell you don't like it and you can walk. Right? Because if you go out there and then you started creating problems, they'll say, oh, you're a troublemaker, and all of that, then they'll find a way, a loophole to get rid of you. Or else say, well, that is how it is. You understand? And let me let you understand something. A lot of persons they sit down and then when it comes to us, when I started working with CCHR, I had 52 attorneys who worked with me and I had to go all their work. And when I saw the injustice and everything that was happening, I didn't want to sit at the desk anymore. I wanted to do the work that I'm doing, to go outside, to talk to people, to empower people. Because many a times we sit there and then say, oh, it's another Caucasian person. No, your own people. It's another a black person who will do it to you. You understand? And you on the other side, oh, well, because he's a white person or he's a Caucasian person. No. Don't put that in mind. Sometimes your own people, they discriminate against you, they violate your rights, they treat you bad, right? So you have to be very careful. So you say an example, an employee prohibits natural hairstyle. So we're looking at hairstyle with black people, right? Now we have, I'm not gonna get to that, but I'm gonna touch it right now. In the workplace, hair discrimination. So Cindy get a job and she have the braids in her hair. My lady is sitting here and she have this turban. This is how she's wearing her hair. She walk into the job. They can tell Cindy that she can come to work with her hair like this. Right? They cannot tell her that she cannot have this turban. Now if she, yes,
What happens if it's like a different color hair, like, neon pink or something like that?
I was just gonna say, they can't tell you this here. They can't tell you. I'm telling you, I work at CCHR. There is this gentleman who worked with me. And be very careful on the job when it comes to sexual harassment with the LGBTQ community. You have to respect people's choices. You cannot tell people how to live their life, what they choose to and what they don't choose to. Because in the workplace, coming from the Caribbean, I was ignorant when it comes to the LGBTQ community, right? It just, it's there, but it was undercover, right? It was not out like in the US. So this gentleman, I saw him, he was working, he had his jeans, he had his sneakers, he had his shirts, right? And his hair was out. And then I addressed him, I said, a man in front of me, right? About 2 months after he came in, he had on sneakers, he had on a dress, he had on earrings, he had on lipstick, he had on his nail polish. So I said, and then they had to shut your mouth. You will get yourself in trouble. Because I did not know. Right? So we have to educate ourselves. So then when I said him, he said, no, you cannot address him as him. You understand? So how do I have to address him? How do I address him? How do I address him? Somebody.
Pronouns?
Yeah, how do you address him?
Pronoun, yeah.
No, what pronoun? This is pronoun. They.
They?
You address him as they.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can address him as she, or you can address him as he. He wanted to. So when we have meetings, we have to learn that, and you have to learn that when you have meetings, the person have to tell you as to how they want to be addressed. Is it they, he, she, or however, right? So, and you have to respect people, and then a lot of persons get the have problems on the job because of that.
So does it depend on the workplace? So you see, for instance, you gave an example with turban and stuff like that. But say for instance, like a school or something, but they still tell you you cannot have that on. It depends on certain religions, if you're not religious or something like that. Like say I have to have a turban on, but they be like, if you're not religious, you can't.
Yeah, but it may not be religious, but you may have a health problem. So they cannot tell you that you cannot come. They used to, but they can't tell you that now because there's a law. But then because that is what I'm telling you, because they know the law, or sometimes they may be ignorant to the law, and they just, don't want to be bothered with it. But at the end of the day, that's why it is so important that you educate yourself, that you know for yourself, and you could go to them and say, this is the law. Right? So if you get up in the morning and you want to put your scarf and thing up your scarf and go to work, you're going to work and it's not stopping you from doing your work. Now, I am not telling you that you go to work anyhow with your pom-pom shorts and then you walk in and disrespect people, because when it comes to professional appearance, in the workplace, I vouch for that. But sometimes you as a woman, you might have a bad headache, and then you want to put something, as long as it looks nice and presentable, you can walk in and they'll put you out. And as the gentleman was asking me, there are persons who come to work and then they have their hair blue, or it's green, or it's pink. You can't ask them to leave because they don't complain against you. Let's have the next slide. Okay, so when we look at the national origin citizenship, and that's what I spoke about earlier on, workers cannot be paid less just because of the immigration status, right? I mentioned that before. We have workers cannot be threatened with deportation because we have been paid less, and because they spoke about it, they query about it and say, hey, where am I getting less money? And they were threatened and because immigration for them. And that is a no-no, right? That is retaliation. And workers are entitled, as I mentioned before, to equal treatment regardless of the language they speak, what country they come from, or whether they speak with an accent. Before I started working with CCHR, if any reason things were different, you would not have known me. I would have been in the Caribbean back home, and I would be sipping pina colada on the beach. You wouldn't have known me because I could have made a lot of money. Because I spent 17 years working for an organization at another city agency, and the lady, my supervisor, and all she used to say to me, you're Caribbean people. You're Caribbean people. And Fran, you've been in this country all these years and you don't know how to speak English, right? And it would be a constant thing. So when I started working at CCHR, and then we had the managing attorney, we had our onboarding, and then when they started giving us all the different areas of discrimination, we covered over 25 different categories of discrimination under our law. And then I was just, she put it down as well, check. I experienced this check. And she was like, you experienced all of that? I said, yes. She said, okay, that's a class lawsuit against the city. So I could have sued the city, I could have sued the commissioner, could have sued HR, and be really good right now. Right? And I said, it's fine, let it go. Karma have a way of coming back to you. So I just, went on my way and went to CCHR. Right? So next slide. Okay, so we touch on gender expression, gender identity. So gender identity, all of you who those online, you can read it, and it gives you all the related areas of the characteristics when it comes to gender. All right, let's go. All right. Okay, Sagri history. We spoke about that. Just the next slide. Let me see if I touch about everything. Okay, it is illegal under the New York City law for employers to request credit history.
Is it just employers or is it anybody that you encounter? Because a lot of times on a rental application, right, they'll ask you about your credit history, right? And I'm sure everybody's here has had issues with their credit in the past, where it's up, it's down, right?
So that's in housing. If I don't finish housing today, based on how much time she gave me, if I don't finish housing and I come back, then we'll touch that. But then when it comes to houses, it's different, right? When it comes to housing, because you have to realize that you're dealing with money, right? You have to, so they want to know that you are. It's just like if you're applying for a credit card, right? And then your credit is not that good. the credit card company will not issue your credit card because they realize that you're not paying on time. But then your credit history has nothing. There was one time that person's used to ask you about your credit history when it comes to job. It's another, what is has to do with anything,
Yeah.
right? So they can't ask you, sorry, yeah. All right? Oh, let's go back to that again. You said,
Will we go back?
yeah. Employers cannot ask you about your credit, your debt, your late payment, your student loan, child support, bankruptcy, or ask you to sign a document to obtain your credit score. It is illegal to request or use current employer's credit history in making an employment decision.
I feel like I've seen this on applications before. They say they're gonna do like a credit. I feel like I've seen that on, job applications.
So you know now. You know now. So if you see it again and anyone say it, you know what to do. You call it. That's the reason why it's always good. I always encourage persons when you see things like that, you always make a note of it. You know, and then we don't have to call your name. You just give us the information and then we take it from there. All right, next slide. Okay. Criminal history should pay. I went over that. Pay no part in employment process. I spoke about that. Employers may not withdraw conditional offer of employment, may refuse to hire someone or take adverse action, fire or discipline employee based on a pending criminal charge. So if you're arrested, right, and then you're applying for a job, they should not on the paper then they say, hey, you know, what's going on? So well, I have a court case come up. They should not deny you the job because of the court case. Right? And go back again. And it says whatever it is, you see what it says, the direct relationship between the criminal conduct and the job. As I spoke about before, so it has to have some sort of connection when it comes to your criminal background. Okay. Next slide. Yeah, we went through that already. Caregivers, as I spoke about caregivers, if you have a child, you have an older parent that you need to take care of, they have to work with you as that. So employment, let us look at the husbands in the house. You may have your wives who are still childbearing age. You may have young persons in your family. So when it comes to pregnancy in the workplace, right? So pregnancy, we may get to that slide. Oh, it's there already. Thank you. So pregnancy accommodation in the workplace. So if you're pregnant in the workplace, I used to go on the street as I do my tabling and resource fairs. There was a young lady who used to be one of the vendors with me. And she came to me, she said, you know, I said, I haven't seen it in a while. She said, they fired me. I said, why? And then she said, because she got pregnant, right? And then they fired her because she got pregnant. So if you are working and then they fire you, you have to file a claim against them. You cannot they cannot fire you because you get pregnant on the job. And then also, and this is the last piece, so I guess we'll have to reschedule because it's a lot. And I don't like to, rush it. And then I rush through the employment. And then if you're pregnant on the job, you did accommodation, you have to ask the employer for accommodation. No employer will come to you and say, hey, Fran, I noticed that your feet is swell. And I realize that you're working like you're in pain, and I'm going to accommodate you. No employer. It has to be somebody who's very, very understanding. And sometimes you would think that a woman, as a woman, she have that understanding and she'll work with you. And then she's worse than a man. The man will have more empathy towards you than another woman boss, right? So at the end of the day, you have to go. You ask to say, hey, can you change my schedule? Can I get a chair to sit based on your work schedule, right? And the job that you are doing. So that is one area, and you don't need a letter from the doctor to give to your employer for accommodation if you're pregnant at the job. And then when you get back to it, then there is a lactation accommodation as well. So the lactation accommodation, when you return to work, they would have a room to express your milk for your baby, right? So they'll have a lactation room. So that lactation room will have a table, must have a table, have a chair, a socket where you can plug that pouch you have to store your milk, and close there they must have running water. All right, they should not ask you to go to the bathroom to express your milk. right? And nor should they ask the woman to use her lunch hour or a break hour to express her milk. If that space is not big enough to accommodate a lactation room, then they have to work with you. You go out, they give you the time, you go out, you're expressing, and then you come back in. All right? Any questions? Because I just did a little bit in employment, but I have to stop here where I have time. Any questions? Any more questions? We good?
So you were saying, for the lactation room, they have to provide one if they.
Yeah, so if you at the company, if they have the space
Okay.
in the
They have.
if they have the space in the room, then they have to provide a lactation room for the women,
Okay.
right? So that lactation will have, you can ask them to go to the bathroom to do. That's when they come back after childbirth,
Oh.
right? So they have to express the milk just for that milk to feed the baby when you go back. So that room must have a table. It will have a chair, a socket where they can plug the pouch to keep the milk cold, and running water close by so that they can wash the pumps and whatever. And then also, as I said, you can ask the person to use the lunch hour, nor should they use the break time, right? So if this space is not big enough and to accommodate that lactation room, then you have to work with the mother to go out to the expressing and come back. Right? And that's my time until another time.
Any questions from people on Zoom? For Francisca? Okay, we're gonna go to our next presenter.
I'm getting it.
No problem.
Well, for
Right.
Yeah.
Ray, you can sit here and that way people on Zoom can see.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
See a lot of familiar faces here. It's been over a year since we haven't been in this room, and I'm actually really excited and happy to be back in this room again. Thanks to Cindy. My name is Ray Bolick. For you that don't know me, I'm the marketing director for MedCare. We're a community FQHC based here in Brooklyn, right on Lafayette Street. We're similar to Lasante, which is right next door, so similar concept. We primarily provide primary care, urgent care, and virtual telehealth services, as well as occupational health services and pediatric services. So we are trying to close the gap in healthcare disparities here in the community of Brooklyn. We're trying to make healthcare more affordable, easy access. I'll use this as an example. I know sometimes on a Sunday night you're not feeling well. You know that you need a script for an antibiotic. You know that that'll get you through the week. And unfortunately, it's just so many obstacles to try to get to a doctor. One, you get to the doctor, say you have private insurance, you have to pay a copay. There's so many expenses that lead to that, which we're trying to alleviate. So with us, we would provide this telehealth service where it would be, if you're uninsured, it would be a low cost of $40 for the telehealth service. But if you are insured, then there'd be no cost at all to you. It's just providing easier access to a doctor, and just closing the gap that we have in our community and having to go to a larger healthcare system, just being a number. It's more of that personal concierge VIP type service that we all deserve and we all should be getting. And they're popping up around the city, like Solace Health, you'll see like Tribeca Pediatrics. But for example, I took my daughter to one of the pediatric services. They said that they were a network. Next thing you know it, we got a surprise bill. $1,200 later. I'm like, wow, we were just there for literally 5 minutes. All you did was a temperature check and, basically sent us on the way out and told us that use Zyrtec and use Motrin to keep this temperature down. And we're like, for real? We got a $1,200 bill for this? It was ridiculous. So We're trying to alleviate that we're trying to provide, affordable healthcare here in Brooklyn. We are expanding to different areas. So we'll be coming to Bed-Stuy, we'll be in East Flatbush. So really excited about our expansion and expanding our model and rolling our model out. I do want to, announce that we would love and appreciate any type of community partnership that's out there, just to facilitate, make, healthcare more accessible. So either it be employment stuff like pre-employment drug testing or driving DOT physicals or anything of that sort. We would work with you on that front. And then just be your healthcare partner here and just, support the organization and come along and support any of the events that you guys might have. Let us know. I'll have Cindy drop my contact in the Zoom chat. And feel free to contact me if you guys have any opportunities for events or sponsorships. But more about Medcare, we're a community-based healthcare provider here in Brooklyn. We're focused on accessibility, same-day care, and continuity. We combine primary care, urgent care, and telehealth. So just having easy access to healthcare. So care when you need it, in person or virtual, same-day appointments, ongoing primary care relationships, virtual care access. We accept all types of insurances. We don't discriminate against insurance or self-pay. And if you don't have insurance, we also have programs that would cover that. Especially like you mentioned earlier, talking about immigration status. We don't ask things like that. We don't, that's something that we leave at the door. We're here to provide healthcare, not, check your immigration status. And yeah, we're built for convenience and speed, and we just want to be your community partner. So more about the services on primary care. We do anything from like annual physicals, chronic disease management, diabetes, blood pressure, STD testing, just a full spectrum of, everything under the primary care umbrella. In addition to that, we do the preventative care. So we do testing to prevent, so for example, if we see that your A1C is at a 6.3, we'll come up with a diet program, we'll come up with a nutritionist. Maybe it's your mental health that's affecting you. We have, community partners that we can work with, that, we basically send out for that one. In terms of urgent cares, things always happen. You never know. So we're always there for you. And then telehealth, if you don't feel comfortable coming in person, which sometimes you just don't feel comfortable coming in for certain ailments, or you feel uncomfortable being in person to see a provider. That's when, telehealth is great, or just the convenience of getting a script or a refill. You could always use telehealth for those. And I believe we got one more slide. Yep. But that's pretty much it. So we want to be your healthcare community partner. But yeah, any questions? Go ahead.
Thank you. So trying to understand the difference. So I go to Mount Sinai.
Mhm.
That's like my provider. That's where my doctors are. How would your organization fit in?
So we would basically, that's a good question. So say at Mount Sinai, you can't get appointment availability. Dr. Smith is booking out until the end of May. So you need to see the doctor. You need either a refill on your birth control, or you need a refill on your diabetes medication, whatever it might be. You would come over to us. We would basically facilitate your healthcare needs at that given time. You would provide your provider's name, so your doctor's name at Mount Sinai, and then we would send a report to your
Oh,
doctor
good.
at Mount
Okay.
Sinai so that it could stay on your health record.
Okay. And so with my health insurance, you know how to have in-network and out-of-network?
Mhm.
You guys would always be considered out-of-network, or
We're
it depends?
in network, so
You-
we're in
you
network.
are in-network,
Yeah,
okay.
we are. So we're an in-network provider, and then we're in network with state Medicaid and Medicare.
So basically, you guys are like the go-to if I can't get to my typical doctor.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ray, you were sure that you wouldn't turn anyone away if they couldn't pay or regardless of the immigration status, correct?
Yep, exactly.
And would there be any delay of them receiving services? Because what I've seen, those who can't pay, sometimes they'll sit in the waiting room for hours or whatnot while they service everyone else before they call.
No, that's a really good point out. No, we don't discriminate against that. It's, it goes by whoever's on the list, whoever signed in, whoever checked in, we go by that. Appointments do override that. So if someone had an appointment, they would get seen at their appointment time. And if opposed to someone who's a walk-in, they would have to wait unless, there's an appointment or whatever. But we wouldn't do that, no.
And if someone can't pay, what assistance do you give them to help them get health insurance or something like that?
So we connect with community partners. We have really good relationships with a lot of the insurance companies. So like Metro Plus and like Fidelis and all those other plans that are out there. So we have community partners. We tie you up with them. Obviously, if there's any community partners in the healthcare or insurance world, email me. But yeah, so we connect them with them, and we basically facilitate, resources. If say they can't provide, they can't afford, the Metro card, or I don't even think Metro cards are a thing anymore. But if they can't afford transportation, we provide transportation for them.
So, if I, like I said, if I have insurance and I'm not able to go to my active provider and I go to you guys, will I like get a copay? Like, once I give you my insurance card, are you like billing me as a copay, like the same way my insurance bills me, or how does that?
So yes, illegally, we would have to accept the copay. So whatever is on your card, whatever copay amount is on your card with your private insurance, that would be the amount that you would have to pay. And then there would be no other surprising, hidden bills. We're very transparent with that. So it would be whatever the cost of visit is. We bill the insurance. The only part you would be responsible for with the private insurance would be the copay that's on the front of your card.
Is the service for children as well?
Yes, there is. We do provide pediatric services. So that's coming up soon. You got camp physicals, back to school. So we do all those on site.
Last question, and it's not like urgent care, like, it's kind of limited, they can't pretty much do everything is there, so is it like what specific, so if I'm going for a fever, I don't know.
So everything from as minor as a bump and bruise to anything as severe as a fracture or an insect bite, a sick visit, anything that falls under flu, COVID, RSV, anything viral, anything literally, and then vaccinations, like chronic care management, so diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, just pretty much all of the stuff that doesn't require a specialist, so would be on the primary care space. When we would have to send out would be if you need an orthopedic, or we see that, your heart rate's not well, and then your blood pressure with a combination of your cholesterol, and we're concerned after we do an EKG, then we would have to send out to, a cardiovascular surgeon, or say it's something that's, you're having breathing issues, and it's something with pulmonology, then we would have to, refer out to the hospital. But for the most part, we see everything. Any other questions?
Okay, yeah, two quick questions. One is, Lafayette Avenue is your only location? or-
Yeah, it's only our only location right now, but we are growing, and then we are opening up within the next 9 months, 3 other locations.
Okay, and, let's say if you don't have a primary physician, you could go to you, and then, you could refer us if we need a specialist?
No, you would come to us. We do primary care. So you would be able to stay in-house with one of our providers. We have 2 providers on site.
Yeah.
And you could stay in-house with us, and we can continue to manage your health care. And then urgent care wise, if you need a same day appointment or coming in for some sort of urgent issue, that would be considered an urgent care visit. And then if you're coming in for primary care for, your diabetes management or your blood pressure management, or, running regular blood work or your annual physicals, that would be considered the primary care side. And then if you need a specialist, we would refer you out to a specialist, either it be podiatry or orthopedic or whatever, like, in that space.
So for primary care services, you need an appointment.
Primary care services, you can still walk in. We do walk in for primary care, and we do walk in for urgent care as well. You would just, obviously appointments take, precedent, and they're the ones that are seen first. But, we see all, and we do encourage walk-ins.
And what are the working hours?
So we're right now we're functioning from 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, and now we're adding Saturday hours, and I believe those will be 8 to 12.
For Saturday?
Any dental services?
No, not yet. Just medical. Which reminds me, I need a dental appointment.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, so
So, some of the complaints I look at, because, I'm affiliated with Kings County. I'm on the board at Kings County, and a lot of persons, when they meet me, one of the questions that they have, or concerns that they have, what they go out there, and I'm also on community board 9, so the two questions I want to ask you, have the health and social services, chair for, community board 9. So we usually have a lot of, organizations coming and health organizations coming in to my meeting doing just what you did. And so I'd like for you to come in because I'm not certain at school. You said you're in Lafayette, so that's across.
Yep.
So when you say you're going to different areas, so I would like very much, that you could come next month. I'll give you my information.
Yeah, definitely.
But my invitation to the Christmas time.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
7 the first Thursday of every month.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll definitely note that.
So I'll give you my information because we have a lot of seniors, right, in our community, and sometimes they're not able to go out. Sometimes they can, and sometimes the person may not be a senior, they have an issue, but they're unable to leave the home at the time because of childcare or whatever, and they need television, and that is. So do persons pay extra for television?
No, it's billed under the insurance, and I believe with the television, there's not even a copay for that either.
Okay, so my next question is also one of the concerns persons, and I myself have experience in just that. So first is that you're doing X-rays and blood tests and sonograms and stuff like that. So sometimes when you open those business, you have a partnership with those persons, and it really throws people off that if they see you at Lafayette and they need a sonogram, they send them all the way to Cody Island and all the way down to Will Basin because they know somebody down there. They have a friend down there, and they're sending them there, and then so I just want to know what's your practice, like somebody come to you and they need an X-ray, they need, they need a sonogram, do you have? It's just open that you just send it to a particular place?
No, we do convenience. It's convenience reasons. So we look up what's the closest to their address, and then we ask them what they feel comfortable with doing. We don't have exclusive partners for imaging. We don't do that. So that's I know that could be annoying because some groups are partnered with certain imaging centers and or certain laboratories, but we don't do that. We have lab in-house, but other than that, it's just we have that conversation when at the checkout point, and we ask, we look at your address, and then we look into the database and see what would be the closest option for you and what would you be most comfortable with.
Yeah, because that person they say, I wanted to go to downstate or I wanted to go to Kings County, and they just send me all the way, and sometimes you have a senior person and then they're waiting an hour and a half for an right.
Oh, that's the accessoride thing. Either waiting for a long time or getting out of their area of comfort. Yeah, I totally agree. That's why we make sure that we ask them what they're comfortable with and we find viable options in their area.
Okay.
Quick question. So you mentioned you would send the notes to their doctor. Do you have access to their records?
So no, we wouldn't have access to their records. The only way we would get access to their records is which legally you would have to fill out a medical record release form from your current provider and then add us as your provider to send over the medical record so that we would have access to it. However, if you do have a lot of, I don't know if you guys, where you guys do your deal with your health, but for example, there are certain groups that have apps, and then you could pull up My Chart or whatever it is, and then you would have, the records on you, you would be able to share those records with the provider at your visit so that you could discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so.
Any questions from Zoom? No? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, we're gonna end our time together here. We're gonna wrap up we have time for about 3 program updates. So does anyone have any pressing update that you would like to share? If you don't get a chance to share, you can always drop your update in the chat. That will be shared out. Selena, I see you.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Selena LeBron. I'm from NYPCC. Just want to let you know that we have current openings. We are a mental health counseling service. So we have openings for our Bushwick site, and then we also have openings for our remote site if folks are not able to visit our in-person site for counseling services. We service we provide those services for children, adults, and families beginning at age 3. We don't have a cutoff age for adults. And we also have our upcoming Parent Cafe, which is a virtual event. I shared all the information in the chat box, and I'll also be sharing it with Lamecca and Cindy so she can blast it out to all of our other partners. But we hope that you will share this information. It's for Mental Health Awareness Month. We're gearing towards Mental Health Awareness Month, and the topic will be on ending the silence and how we can work together to talk about mental health overviews within families. And so we hope that you will all attend. It's always a great event. And yeah, see you there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Selena. Anyone else would like to share a
Ye-
program update?
Ye- Real quickly. Oh,
Go ahead.
all right. So it's Joanna Bosco with Metro Plus Health. Hate to be the bearer of bad news on some of these meetings, but just to let you guys know, the Essential Plan 200 to 250, which essentially we were calling the Essential Plan 5, is ending on June 30th. So there's over 450,000 New Yorkers that are going to lose insurance. As an insurance company, Metro Plus Health, we are encouraging our clients that did have that plan to please, even if you don't have Metro Plus, reach out to your insurance provider to see what your other options are. The income may have changed from the time you enrolled to now. It's a good time to check again if you guys have any clients to see if they can be enrolled in other plans. Lots of changes coming next year as well. I'll work with you guys to do a presentation towards the end of the year about the changes coming next year, where able-bodied individuals will have to renew their Medicaid every 6 months versus every year. So that's all for me. And also, I do have a contact here at my office with Public Health Solutions if you guys would like, so we could do a presentation maybe next month on the changes that came to the SNAP program as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Just have a quick question. Do you have any visual effects that we can share in the newsletter just to make sure people are informed?
I'll look for some and get it out to you, definitely. I have a quick I found something for SNAP that I'll send right over after the meeting, and I'll look for something for the health insurance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Charlene, would you like to go next?
Yes, I do. Thank you so much. I'm Charlene Gordon from New York City Department of Health. All my contact information is in the chat. For May, we'll be celebrating Older Adults Month, so we have a couple of webinars. Please take a look. Just click on the link and you'll see the list. We also, for asthma awareness, is on May, I believe it's May 5th. Right, it's May 5th or May 6th. We having a webinar also too. If you click on the link, you'll see it. It will be an asthma 101. So it will be great if you have anyone that's want to be educated on asthma, doing an asthma 101. Here's your chance to actually register and learn more about asthma. And lastly, for childcare providers or individuals who service childcare providers, we have a webinar for this month in English. It calls the ABCs of Environmental Hazards, which is going to talk about lead, pest management, and safe sleep. And next month, we'll be having the same webinar in Spanish only. So for all your Spanish speaker, please enroll and share this information with everyone. That's it. Thank you. And my contact is in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charlene. All right, everyone, we're going to end our time together here. We appreciate you and look forward to joining us again next month. I am going to leave the Zoom chat open just in case someone still needs to put in their information. Please make sure that you also complete the attendance sheet, including people here in person. So Cindy, can you put back the QR code with the attendance sheet so they can scan? And yeah, that's it, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh.